Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Tommy versus Time, guys. In this one, we're going to be doing something very simple. I am super hopeful we're going to hit that 15-minute mark, because as you know, guys, that is the goal. So guys, today we'll be doing a smoked salmon, potato, and asparagus salad. It looks really easy. I'm extremely hopeful that we'll hit the 15-minute mark on this one. I mean, I don't have to really cook anything. I have to boil some water for potatoes and asparagus. I think I can do that. I think even I can do that. And I also think you can do it. So guys, if you're not familiar with how we score these, we do everything out of 10 except for time, which is on a pass-fail sort of idea there, because honestly, like, you either pass or you don't. I mean, there's not like, if we go 15 minutes or 16 minutes, we failed. I mean, the thing is supposed to be done 15 minutes, at least in these videos. So the other categories, guys, are cost, ease of use, basically how easy was it to put together? Do I have to do a lot of cooking and cutting and prepping? Do I have to use a special tool? Which, by the way, got a blender. It's here. No, but seriously, we got a blender. It's very small. I know I was talking a lot of crap about where I could store it. We actually moved a bunch of things around and made some room. So we have a teeny tiny little blender. Jamie Oliver would be proud. And weirdly enough, we don't need this today. So go figure. Now, as I was saying, so the thing we're going to measure on, quite obviously, is going to be our taste. Does it taste good? How delicious was it? That's very subjective, because obviously, you know, I may like something that's very acidic or very spicy or very sweet, where someone else may not like that. So that's very, very subjective, but it's part of the trade. Guys, if you have a chance to do this recipe, obviously I highly recommend you give it a shot. May not take you 50 minutes, may take you less, may take you more. It just, you know, it's hot outside and we're trying to get some nice weather, and I would really like to have something that's kind of light and refreshing. And I think this really kind of hits the mark. So with that being said, let's get into the ingredients, but before that, B-roll.
Perfect.
All right, folks, so with that out of the way, let me break down the ingredients for you here. All right, so there's three components here. First one is gonna be obviously our potato and our asparagus salad, has some radicchio or some endive in there. Looks really good, and also has bacon, so it's gonna be delicious. The second component of this recipe is gonna be the bread. We just got a nice baguette. We're gonna put some butter on it, toast it. Again, delicious. I don't see anything wrong with this. And obviously the final part of our salmon and asparagus salad is going to be the smoked salmon. We have some wonderful smoked salmon that I picked up from a local store here. I'm really excited to eat it. And yeah, so this should be pretty quick, guys. We'll run through the ingredients and we will see you on the backside.
So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab yourself 1 pound of baby potatoes, followed by 1 bunch of asparagus. Now this is about probably 15 or 16 spears of asparagus here, and then you're going to want to grab yourself some endive. Now I could only find radicchio, but this will work just fine as a replacement. And next, it's bacon. So you're going to want to grab yourself 4 slices of that thick cut bacon. You might even want a 5th just to eat, so you don't, you know, eat the other 4 pieces. But anyways, she's thick. You're going to want this. It's going to add a lot of flavor. And you're going to want to grab yourself some dill. Here we're going to use about a bunch of fresh dill. Again, get fresh, because you're going to want to combine this with your mustard. And the mustard, guys, will be using 1 teaspoon of this grainy mustard, followed by about 1/4 cup of fat-free Greek yogurt. And of course, as always, we like to add some acid to this, so we're going to add ourselves 1 sad little lonely lemon, but 1 lemon all the same. Now for bread here, I went with a good quality baguette. You can use anything that you like, but the baguette is a good choice. Next, you want to grab yourself 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, followed by about 1 cup of microgreens. Now you could use a little bit more or a little bit less, but about 1 cup should suffice. So guys, let's move to the cool part, which is going to be the salmon. So guys, this is high quality smoked salmon. I can't recommend this enough to get some good quality salmon, but you're gonna need about 300 grams of it. You can see all the moisture and how wet it is from the smoke, and just look at the color, look at the smoke lines, it's beautiful. So this is worth getting. However, this will up your price. If you're looking to cut costs a bit, you can get something a little bit cheaper, but this was definitely worth the money. Unsurprisingly, I ate 1 or 2 pieces, but let's set our timer and move on here. So we're gonna have our timer set for 15 minutes, and once we hit that, it's time to go. So to start our ingredient prep, we're going to grab our baby potatoes and simply cut these in half before we put these into our pot of boiling water, like so. Just be careful not to splash on yourself like I did. And then we're gonna go back and start our bacon. With the bacon freed from its shackles, it's time to move back to the stove and render out that fat. So with the bacon rendering, it is time to move back to our prep station. We're just going to quickly get our asparagus going here, and this is just going to be a quick cutting off of the bottoms here. You could also bend these if you want, but I just cut them, and now we gotta go back and flip our bacon. So with the bacon done, we're going to move to our dill. We're going to quickly and finely chop this before we then go to our asparagus, which we're going to take a peel or two and just get these fine strands of asparagus. Now guys, this is a bit of a tedious bit of work. Just be careful and try to go as quick as you can, but don't lose a finger. So you should be left with some beautiful, delicate ribbons of asparagus. So let's move back to our pot here. We're going to add the remainder of our asparagus and let this blanch for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then go back and prepare our radicchio. Now again, you could use an endive, but I couldn't find one, so you're just going to want to cut this in half and remove the core, and then we're just going to finely cut this, guys. You don't have to do anything special. There's no special technique. Just cut it really thin and fine, and you just want to be able to spread this over our salad at the end. So by the end of it, you should be left with something that looks a little bit like this. So now it's time to move back to our bacon, which we're going to finely chop and then pour over our salad. So by the end of this, guys, here are your ingredients you're going to need for the salad. We have our asparagus ribbons, which we're going to be putting on top of our salmon as garnish. We have our dill, which is going to be part of our salad. And of course, we have bacon, which is also going to be part of our salad. Finally, we have our radicchio or endive, which is going to be a nice pop of color and some bitter flavor, which is going to go really well with the salad as well. So next, you're going to move to your baguette and evenly slice 8 pieces off of this, or 9 or 10, up to you, before we move on to our dressing. So you're going to want to grab yourself a nice bowl and of course put into that our 1/4 cup of yogurt. Again, guys, I'm using fat-free yogurt, but you can use any yogurt that you like. To that, you'll be adding your 1 teaspoon of grainy mustard, followed by your half lemon. This is just to give it some more acid, of course. And then you'll be adding your fresh dill. So with all the dressing ingredients in the bowl, you're going to want to go ahead and stir that. Feel free to add salt and pepper to taste, but ultimately you should have something that looks like this. Kind of a nice pale colored white dressing. It goes really well with our potatoes, and as you'll see right here, we're going to add those in now. And just let them sit, make sure these are cooled a bit, and you'll start to see that we get some color once we add our asparagus on top. Again, these are blanched, so you can cook them a little bit less if you like them a little bit more firm. But ultimately, we're going to then sprinkle on some of that delicious bacon before also sprinkling on some of that radicchio, or if you have it, endive. So there you go, guys. There is our potato salad done. We're going to move that off to the side, but before that, we'll give it a quick glamour shot. Ah, beautiful. And now we move on to the salmon. So on a plate, you're going to want to shingle your smoked salmon kind of randomly. It doesn't really matter exactly where you go, but just get your salmon on there, give it a squeeze of lemon. Then you're going to want to top it with our wonderful, delicate ribbons of asparagus, followed by a few randomly placed microgreens for effect. And believe it or not, that's it. We're done. A beautiful plate of smoked salmon with asparagus and some microgreens. So there you go, guys. You can really see the contrast between the textures and the colors, and it looks really appetizing, and it came together real quick. Like 22 seconds left to spare quick. So this took less than 15 minutes, guys. We hit the mark, which is awesome. And this is really just a really beautiful plate to look at, and it's going to taste amazing. So I highly recommend, guys, you give this recipe a shot.
So guys, there you go, 22 seconds left on our timer. We actually made it. Now granted, I will say, we didn't really have to cook anything. We kind of just boiled some water for some potatoes and then threw in some asparagus till they're kind of al dente, and then we're off to the races. So guys, as you know, we like to rank this on 4 different categories. The first being time, pass or fail. In this case, we had 22 seconds left, so we definitely passed, which is a nice surprise because we've been struggling a little bit. So let's taste this, guys, and then let's get into the scoring. I mean, when isn't bacon good? One thing I will say, guys, a bit of a lost opportunity, and I probably wouldn't have had time to do this, but we cooked bacon. Now what we should have done is then with those boiled potatoes is thrown them in that bacon fat, crisp them up, really gives it some texture and gives it a lot more flavor. So the potatoes to me are a little underwhelming. Not a lot of flavor. Really, it's all about the sauce, which I kind of got. That yogurt and dill and lemon and mustard sauce is good. You add some salt, you add some pepper. It's fine. Missed opportunity. Definitely on that bacon fat potatoes. It just goes hand in hand. This is what we all been waiting for, right? Right here. I'm definitely putting on this our buttered bread. Again, can't really go wrong with smoked salmon. I think I need to add a little bit more lemon, which I might do. But again, super clean, guys. Just really simple. A little bit of the asparagus that we peeled and made nice little thin ribbons of. A little bit of the pea shoots or sprouts. Then we added a little bit of salt, I think, and some lemon, and that's all it really is. Nothing too mind-blowing about that. With good bread, as you can hear, very crunchy. Nice texture, really tasty. So overall, guys, on taste, since I'm doing this now, I'm gonna just kind of tell you what I think, first impressions. I'm probably gonna give this an 8, maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10. I'll finalize that score, you'll see it here. Because really, like I said, I think there's a missed opportunity. You're kind of, I wouldn't say you're cheating with bacon, but bacon's always delicious, right? No one's ever gonna argue that. So guys, for ease of use, this was obviously really easy. I'm gonna give this like a 9 or 10 probably. Again, we'll finalize it in post, but probably a 9 or 10 just because, I mean, all I really had to do was boil water and cut up a few things. Like the salmon was already sliced. I mean, I had to shave a few asparagus. It's nothing really crazy, so that was really nice, really simple, and that's obviously what saved us a lot of time.
So while thick-cut bacon and high-quality smoked salmon are delicious, they are not the most cost-effective things to grab. So unsurprisingly, guys, this was rather expensive with a per-plate cost of $6.91. However, that being said, I would make this again. So we're going to give this on cost a 5 out of 10, but you could probably get this to a 6 or a 7 if you use somewhat cheaper bacon and somewhat cheaper salmon.
Alright guys, so that'll do it for today's video. If you guys are enjoying any of this series, any of the cooking, or my wonderful personality, feel free guys to leave a sub, leave a like, leave a comment, especially if you have any ideas of some books that I should be looking into, perhaps some other alternatives to this kind of thing, because I know there's some out there, but just some good ones that you might recommend. I'm happy to check them out, purchase them, and use them as a potential way to make some more content. So as always, if you're enjoying the videos, please feel free to check out some of the other ones we have on the channel. And of course, guys, as always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.